So the reason I didn't go into the workshop was because I was told I had to introduce myself, and that's not something I was up for, especially in front of quite a lot of people. I mean, there wasn't that many people in the workshop, but there was still quite a few. I went into that with trying to help myself be able to go into assemblies and things like that, which is what I was told might help.
That was Daisy. 2 years ago, she couldn't even walk into my Anxiety Uncovered workshop because someone told her she might have to say her name out loud to a small group. This November, she'll be standing up as head girl, giving a speech on Remembrance Day to 1,400 people. That's the whole school. This is one of the most incredible transformations I have ever seen. So how does she do it? Well, let's find out. Hello, everybody, and a big warm welcome to Anxiety Uncovered, the podcast that inspires young people to manage anxiety and for the adults who want to empower them to succeed. I'm Joe Roundtree, stand-up comedian, presenter, and now anxiety specialist for young people. 15 years ago, I was mugged on the streets of Barcelona, an experience that left me battling chronic anxiety, PTSD, and OCD for many years. I eventually reached out, and thanks to the incredible support from family, friends, and the amazing team at the Maudsley Hospital Centre for Anxiety, extensive therapy, and my background in psychology, I found a way through it. Now, I'm here to help you do the same. So come and join the conversation, have a listen, a laugh, and learn everything you need to know to transform your anxiety into your biggest strength. I'll see you inside. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 7 of Anxiety Uncovered. If you're new to the show or listening from a different part of the world, hello, Jambo, konnichiwa. Today, we are diving into the science behind something called systematic desensitisation and hearing Daisy's story of how she used this very powerful but simple technique to stop avoiding, to embrace uncertainty and face her fears head on. And it's something you can use too. So whether you're avoiding school or work, maybe revision, flying, phone calls, clowns or cabbages, or maybe just taking that next step with the thing that you really want to do, but fear is holding you back, I've got the tools to help you feel more in control. And make sure you stay tuned right to the end for my top takeaway of the week from my anxiety busting toolkit. Ever been so scared of something that you'd rather just not? Yeah, me too. When I was mugged in Barcelona, I avoided the high streets and small groups of men for years. And Daisy talked about how she couldn't even walk into my Anxiety Uncovered workshop 2 years ago because someone had told her she might have to say her name out loud. You know what that is? That's avoidance, anxiety's sneakiest, peskiest trick. And it's what psychologists call a safety behavior. Basically, it makes you feel better right now by helping you dodge the thing that's freaking you out. And that sounds helpful, right? But the problem is, it works too well. Avoidance lowers your anxiety in the short term, but in the long run, it stops your brain from learning that actually that thing you're avoiding isn't as dangerous as it felt. So the next time that thing or the situation comes up, your brain goes, nope, nah, I ain't doing that. No way. It's called short-term relief for long-term pain, aka short-term avoidance for long-term maintenance. Every time we avoid something, we teach our brain, yeah, that's terrifying. Just stay away from it. And what happens? The fear grows. But the good news, we can retrain it step by step by facing the fear gently in small gradual steps, graded exposures, and it starts to shrink. Nice. And it's worth saying this to anyone who's thinking, yeah, okay, Joe, I get it. But I've tried facing my fear and not avoiding, and guess what? It's made me feel worse. What are you talking about? Well, yeah, that's actually quite normal, and it happened to me as well. When we stop avoiding what makes us anxious, the fear often spikes first. That's called an extinction burst. It's basically your brain's way of testing if the old danger is still there. The idea comes from behavioural psychologist B.F. Skinner, and it's backed by research on exposure therapy. Skinner discovered that when you remove a reward or stop a pattern of avoidance, behavior often gets worse before it gets better. This temporary spike is the extinction burst. And it was originally seen in animal experiments. For example, I don't know, if a rat is trained to press a lever for food and then the food stops coming, the rat will press the lever more frantically at first before eventually giving up. That burst of activity, the tapping of the lever, hoping the old reward might come back, is the extinction burst. The initial panic means your brain is relearning, not that you're going backwards. Please, please, please stick with it, and the anxiety will fade because all your brain is doing is just updating its safety signals. I did psychology as a degree and loved it. And yeah, it's only sort of afterwards where you're like, oh yeah, I'm actually using that technique. Is there anything from your psychology A level that you have learned or applied?
Yeah, so recently we've been learning about fears and phobias, and I realised that to overcome my fear of assemblies, I've been using systematic desensitisation.
Oh, amazing. Tell us a bit more about that.
So systematic desensitisation is basically a technique which is like going into things in small chunks, almost like a ladder effect. So you start off small and then work your way to the main worry and fear to overcome it.
I love how Daisy mentions the ladder effect. It conjures up this really nice, clear, but powerful image of a slow climb, facing your fear in these tiny, manageable steps, which can rewire your brain and transform your life completely. Now, systematic desensitization is exposure therapy, and this is the gold standard treatment for anxiety with between 80 to 90% success rates. And it works through something called neuroplasticity, which is my favorite word. I love this word. It just rolls off the tongue. Plasticity. Literally rewiring your brain's fear response by proving to your amygdala, which is your brain's smoke alarm, that the scary thing isn't actually dangerous. It's just burnt toast. But Daisy emphasizes something really, really important. It takes time.
This took around 2 years, although it's only like 7 steps, it took a very long time because it's a long process, and it's important that every time you go into the next step, you're content with the first step, if you know what I mean.
So before Daisy shares the steps she took from hiding behind doors to speaking in front of 1,400 people, there was a couple of things from her interview for me that really, really stood out. Number one was take your time. Only move on to the next step when you feel ready. Don't rush it. And just as important, don't do it alone. Having a trusted guide can make all the difference. So, who could be that guide for you? There's a great theory called the 5 chimps theory, which was coined by Naval Ravikant, but based on an idea from a great man, love his work, Jim Rohn. And the idea is this: you are the average of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. So, hang around with those people who support you, cheer you on, and help you grow, not put you down and gaslight you. So, maybe pick one of your 5 special chimps to help you climb your exposure ladder. And for Daisy, it was her pastoral manager.
You've got to find someone you trust, because if I didn't have my pastoral manager, oh, there's no way I would have been able to do it. I think, and you have to express to them how bad anxiety is. I was really embarrassed about my anxiety, hated talking about it. I was almost like, no, I'm fine. But inside I was like crawling. So we sat down, had a conversation, and I talked about how bad it was and how much I was feeling really bad. So that was my first piece of advice.
Can you tell me, because I remember the moment and it took me 2 years to actually open my mouth after writing it down and admit to someone that I was really struggling. Just the words, I'm really struggling, I need some help, was a bit like what you described. I was crawling inside, I was ashamed of it. So was that the first time you'd actually opened your mouth with words to tell someone for the first time that you were struggling and needed help?
So I wrote a letter to the lady on student reception. This was like year 7. I remember year 7 because there was an assembly and I did not want to go to it. And she told me to take it to my pastoral manager at the time, who was someone different because I was in a different house. And she read it. I didn't go to that assembly. And then COVID hit. So I did not go into assemblies for so long. And then I got my new pastoral manager because we were in bubbles. And I never said I was struggling for like a long time. But she noticed it because I didn't go to form. I just would come in late. I would come in really red-faced and blotchy because I'd been crying so much. And I wouldn't put my hand up in lessons. So my mum rang and spoke to her. And then I tried to avoid her, I remember, like hiding, so she didn't speak to her because I did not want to talk about it. And then we had a conversation and I was like, okay, fine, yeah. At the end, I was like, yeah, I am struggling quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I'd say that was the first time I genuinely was like, okay, fine.
Off the back of this letter that you'd written?
Yeah, I was like, fine, you've got me almost. Yeah. I'm really struggling.
Yeah, yeah.
And then from then on, it got a little bit worse and then it got a lot better.
Because you'd found someone
Yeah.
that you trusted who was there to,
Yeah.
I guess, listen to you. Now, what Daisy did next was brilliant. She created what psychologists call, and what Daisy referred to earlier as, an exposure ladder. Think of it like learning to swim. You don't just get chucked in at the deep end on day one, do you? You start in the shallow end, you get comfortable, then you gradually work your way up to the deep end to eventually being Tom Daly doing arm stand, back, triple somersaults, or in my case, a swan dive with a big belly flop. But you get what I'm talking about. And that's exactly what Daisy did with her fear of assemblies. Now, remember, this took Daisy 2 years. 2 years. And that's completely normal. You could do it in less time. It might take you longer. You do you, swim in your lane at your own pace. This isn't a race. Doggy paddle if you have to. But remember, every step mattered for Daisy. Every tiny victory, every graded exposure, every gradual step helped rewire her brain just that little bit more each time. So let's break down Daisy's incredible journey step by step, from hiding behind doors to speaking in front of her whole secondary school. And remember, this is the same person who couldn't say her own name in front of a dozen people in my workshop. So here's how Daisy did it, and the 7 steps she took to take back control. So this is Daisy's 7-step journey. Number 1, standing outside the assembly hall, looking through the window. Step 2, standing at the back of the assembly hall with her support person, her pastoral manager. Number 3, standing at the back alone but near the exit. Number 4, sitting at the end of the back row. Number 5, sitting in the middle of the group. Step 6, presenting as head girl. And step 7, speaking to her entire school, 1,400 people. Now let's hear it in Daisy's words.
So my first step was standing at the back of the assembly outside, looking through the door, looking through the little window. And then step 2 is standing at the back next to a member of staff. So I'd be nowhere near the chairs. I'd be right in the corner and I'd have my pastoral manager next to me. And then step 3, standing on my own at the back without a member of staff. So I'd be same place as step 2, nowhere near the chairs, in the corner, near a door so I could get out without my member of staff. And then step 4 was sitting at the end of the row. So I normally sat at the back, so again, near the door so I could get out. Step 5 was sitting in the middle, in and amongst everyone, which was quite a big jump, I think. But again, I'd say to get to step 4, that was about a year. And that, I remember that was my last ever assembly in year 11, was sitting in the middle of everybody. Step 6 is to eventually present in the assembly as I'm head girl now, which leads us on to step 7, where in November, on Remembrance Day, I'll be talking in front of 1,400 people.
Wow, Daisy, that is amazing. You've gone from really shy, reluctant to go into a workshop because you didn't want to introduce yourself, to where you are now. Can you tell the listener about where you are now?
So I'm in year 12 now.
Yeah.
I'm head girl. And it's not that I've got no worries now, but I can cope with my worries very easily. And assemblies aren't something I struggle with anymore. Speaking to new people is not something I struggle with anymore. So I've come quite far, I'd say.
If you could go back in time and talk to your younger self about anxiety or mental health, what would you say to that younger version of you?
I'd say, Days, everything's going to be fine. You just need to get through this time, and it's always brighter on the other side. And I'd say you need to talk to people, because just sitting in silence isn't going to get you anywhere. In fact, it'll probably slow down the process.
So there you have it. From refusing to say her name out loud in my Anxiety Uncovered workshop to addressing 1,400 people, that is the power of tiny steps. Your brain can change, your fears can shrink, and your confidence can grow. One microscopic step at a time. One thing that really stood out for me about Daisy was the difference between her and her anxiety. The real Daisy was funny, optimistic, and up for a challenge. And instead of letting anxiety keep calling the shots, she decided to lean into it with a sense of humour and a bit of enthusiasm. And I think that's a mindset worth bringing to this exposure ladder, to all types of recovery, therapy. Sure, it can take time. Sure, it's challenging, but you can at some point learn to enjoy the process and see it as a challenge that you can eventually have a laugh with. Don't take yourself too seriously. Anxiety is not the enemy. It's just something to nurture and to be reassured. Think of it like a little puppy, right? We've just got a little dog. And if you ever saw a dog scared or shaking, what would you do? You'd pick it up, you'd comfort it and tell it it's okay. And you'd do that little silly voice and be like, it's okay. It's all right. What's the matter? Woo-doo-doo-doo-doo. I've got you. It's the same with anxiety. Sit with it, smile with it, welcome it in. Don't shove it away. Remember, I think I spoke about this in earlier episodes. Whatever we resist persists. You've got to feel it to heal it. When I was doing my own exposure ladder with my therapist, starting off just thinking of the high street was full on panic mode, you know? Looking at pictures of high streets to finally going out on a dimly lit high street late at night and asking a small group of men for the time. Whoa, yeah, it was tough, but I also had a bit of a laugh doing it. And that is what made the difference to me. And here's a little secret. Nerves and excitement feel exactly the same in your body. Think about it, eh? What happens when you're nervous? Faster heartbeat, bit of shaking, bit of sweating. What happens when you're excited? Faster heartbeat, bit of shaking, bit of sweating. So when that happens next time, why not decide to reframe or relabel the thoughts as excitement instead of anxiety? It takes practice for sure, but awareness is the first step to managing it. Same body sensation, just a different story you can tell. It's pretty cool, eh? Reminds me of that Shakespeare quote, nothing is good or bad, thinking makes it so. And if you want to see more, face your fear and do it anyway, check out a great show on Channel 4. It's called The Fear Clinic. It's a brilliant watch. It's quite extreme, but you'll spot so many crossovers of things we've been talking about today. If you have, for example, a phobia of balloons or sausage dogs, it's definitely one for you. I just want to give a massive shout out to all the amazing students at the Priory Ruskin Academy in Grantham who took part in the podcast, and a very special thanks from me to SLT Assistant Head Rob Goff. Rob went above and beyond to help me make the day happen, from organising the student interviews to making sure everything ran smoothly. Rob is one of those rare people who just gets it. He's kind, he's thoughtful, he's a top bloke and completely dedicated to the young people he supports. A passionate teacher, a brilliant leader, and someone who always puts the students first. So thank you, sir, for making it happen. Time now for my top takeaway of the week from my anxiety busting toolkit. This week it's, drum roll please. Yep, you guessed it. And it would be rude not to, wouldn't it? It's the exposure ladder. As always, I've created a free PDF resource that you can download from the show notes, where you can walk through the technique in your own time and at your own pace. Here's the thing about social anxiety in school. It affects up to 15% of teenagers. So if you are struggling, you're definitely not alone. And here's the brilliant news. Exposure therapy has an 80 to 90% success rate for anxiety. That's better odds than most things in life. So today, we're building you a 7-step ladder specifically for school social anxiety and avoidance. Think of it like, I don't know, learning to drive. You don't just start on the motorway, do you? Oh no, you begin in an empty car park, down back roads, up dust tracks, and then you work your way up to doing 70 miles per hour. No more than that. Honestly, officer. An exposure ladder is exactly what Daisy described. A step-by-step approach where you gradually face your fears in tiny, manageable chunks. It works through something called neuroplasticity, rewiring your brain's fear response. Every time you avoid something scary, you're teaching your brain that it really is dangerous. But every time you face it and survive, which you will, you're proving to your amygdala, your brain's fear center, your brain's smoke alarm, that it's actually safe and it's probably just burnt toast. The key is systematic desensitisation. Start small, master each step, then move up. No rushing, no pressure. This isn't a race, it's a rewiring project. So here is your 7-step exposure ladder for conquering school social anxiety, a powerful science-backed tool. Step 1, make brief eye contact. Start ridiculously small. Maybe a little glance or a quick smile at 2 or 3 of your classmates in the hallway. That's it. 1 second of courage can start rewiring your brain. Step 2, ask a simple question. Something real low pressure like, what page is the homework on? What time does assembly start? The win here isn't the question. It's just proving to yourself that you can open your mouth without the entire world collapsing. Step 3, make small talk before class. Arrive a few minutes early and try a quick chat about maybe Brit's favourite conversation, the weather. Weekend plans, TV shows, whatever, just keep it light. Oh, that maths homework was a nightmare. The conversation doesn't have to be deep. It's the practice that matters. Step 4, speak up in class. Prepare 1 sentence in advance if that helps. Even if it's just backing up someone else's idea. Oh yeah, I think Sarah made a really good point about blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is. The goal, get your voice out there and survive that racing heart. Step 5, eat lunch with others. Stop skipping the cafeteria or hiding out. Sit with classmates or join a lunch club. You don't need to be chatty. Just showing up is progress. Step 6, be active in group projects. Take on a small role. Suggest an idea. Offer to maybe handle a part of the project. Each time you contribute, however small, you build confidence in being heard. Step 7, attend a social event. This is like your final boss. Could be a school game, a club, maybe even a play. Bring a friend, set a time limit and aim for just 1 conversation. The win? You showed up. You stayed and survived, even if your nerves didn't disappear. Remember, this ladder works because it's gradual exposure. Each step trains your brain to see that social situations aren't the threat your anxiety says they are. Stick with it, celebrate each tiny win, and over time, those wins stack up into real change. Remember, small wins, small changes make a big difference. Remember, each step should be challenging but not crushing. Each step should push you but not break you. Think of it like a workout. Tough enough to feel it, but not so tough it knocks you out. Gradually becoming comfortable with situations that currently provoke anxiety. That's what this is about. Oh yeah, and by the way, you don't have to do it in 7 steps. You could add steps, reduce the steps. You could do it in 4, 5, 10, 15, 17 steps. It's really up to you. Play around with it. It's about you being a scientist and an experimenter and discovering what works best for you. If a step feels impossible, a little bit tricky, a little bit sticky, break it down into smaller pieces or just spend extra time mastering the earlier steps. This isn't a race. Some steps might take days, weeks to feel comfortable. What matters is consistency. Consistently confronting fears in a progressive, systematic way. The science is clear. Facing fears with guidance and support truly works. You've got this. Good luck. Join me next week for our final episode in season 1 of the Anxiety Uncovered podcast. I'll be sharing the top tips for that big school transition, moving from year 6 to year 7, primary to secondary. A very timely episode 8, so don't miss it. There's some real gold in this one. If you enjoyed today's episode, give the show a like, a follow, and a share. And if you've got a couple of minutes, maybe even a quick review. It all really helps spread the love and get the message out there to the people that need it the most. Until next time, my friends, be safe, take care, and I'll see you inside. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Anxiety Uncovered. Be sure to stay tuned for future episodes and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. If you enjoyed the show and you think others would too, I'd be really grateful if you could recommend it and we can grow this community together. To get in touch or follow on social media, check out the show notes. I'd love to hear from you. And if you have ideas for future episodes or topics related to anxiety that you'd like to learn more about, please get in touch and I'll dedicate those episodes to you. If you need help right now, please speak up, even if it feels hard. Talk to a trusted adult, friend, or family member. It took me just 20 seconds of insane courage to go to the doctor and ask for help after putting it off for many years, and it honestly saved my life. For additional support, consider free online resources like Anxiety UK, which offers confidential help, or Shout, SHOUT, a free 24/7 text service for anyone in the UK who's struggling. And if you're outside the UK, I highly recommend the website adda.org. I'm your host, Joe Rowntree. It's been a pleasure. And until next time, big love, Godspeed, and amor fati.